to the Liberty Podcast with Clint Armitage. We are proclaiming liberty one show at a time, and the next one starts right now. Okay, welcome back everybody. Clint Armitage, the Liberty Podcast, and now we're going to be talking about the Signs of Judgment Part 9. And that's going to be revolving around Harbinger number 8. So we've been going through this whole series, right? And Harbinger number 8, and actually Harbinger 8 and 9 is one that intrigues me the most. Those two really get me to think there is a connection here. And again, it's Harbinger number 8 and then Harbinger number 9, which will be our next episode. But let's listen in to what they have to say about Harbinger number 8. It's a good one. Check it out.
And the 8th Harbinger. The 8th Harbinger is the vow itself, the utterance of the vow. In order for the vow to have meaning, it had to represent the nation's course. And so its leaders had to give it voice. And since Israel's leaders ruled from the city of Samaria, it would have been declared in the nation's capital. The leaders utter the words of the vow and its manifestation in America. On September 11th, 2004, the third anniversary of the calamity, the Democratic candidate for the vice presidency, Senator John Edwards, gave a speech in the capital city. He opened the speech with the words, "The bricks have fallen, but we will build with dressed stones. The sycamores have been cut down, but we will put cedars in their place." The ancient vow was uttered by an American leader in the nation's capital city. And it wasn't only those words. The entire speech was an exposition on that one verse, Isaiah 9:10. It was the utterance of the ancient vow. He had no idea what the words actually meant, or he never would have uttered them. He spoke of the striking down of the sycamore without realizing an actual sycamore had been struck down on 9/11. He spoke of the gazit stone without realizing an actual gazit stone had been laid on ground zero to begin the rebuilding. He spoke of the planting of the Erez tree where the sycamore had been struck down without realizing that this had actually taken place. And he connected it all to 9/11. He proclaimed a verse that spoke of the warning strike of a nation in the form of a terrorist attack and connected it to 9/11. The verse that identified a nation undergoing the first stage of judgment. Okay, so that is correct. So I did some research on it, and so what it was it was John Edwards' remarks at the September 11th, 2004 Congressional Black Caucus prayer breakfast. So it was Congressional Black Caucus Prayer Breakfast, and it was on September 11th. And so he went through his whole speech, and, I was reading some other takes on it, and they said it was a religious tone throughout most of it, very little politics that were actually spoke about, more of a religious tone throughout the whole prayer breakfast. And again, that's a prayer breakfast, but it was for Congress, well, at least the Congressional Black Caucus there. And so Senator John Edwards in speaking, and he did. He actually said the words of, he actually started out with it. That's how his speech started out. This is how it goes. It goes, "Good morning. Today, on this day of remembrance and mourning, we have the Lord's word to get us through. The bricks have fallen, but we will build with dressed stones. The sycamores have been cut down, but we will put cedars in their place." So he actually did speak about it, and he spoke about it right off the bat, and it was at a prayer breakfast. And it was in Washington, D.C., and it was on September 11th, 2004. So all these, connections to September 11th, like why it was 3 years later, although September 11th was still in the, people's minds and all that. And this prayer breakfast was held on September 11th, and it was held in Washington, D.C., in the Capitol there. Now, it was part of a political / religious event.
So they were, it was, again, the Congressional Black Caucus prayer breakfast, mixing politics and religion there. And so it's interesting. And then it also happened on 9/11 as well, on September 11th, 2004. So when I think about this, I think on one side of it goes, okay, he was actually trying to uplift and encourage, and it was during a peaceful time of remembrance and mourning, but also trying to connect it to the Lord and the things that the Lord is going to be doing positively in people's lives and encouraging people in their life as they move on from September 11th. That's what that whole thing was about, the prayer breakfast. That was the tone, right? So could that, even though that was their intention and their tone, could it be used by God to be the harbinger, or a harbinger, of what Jonathan Cahn says is the utterance, the harbinger of utterance? A leader in the, political realm, or a leader in this country, during a speech gives this vow, although he is trying to turn the vow into something positive, which is what the Israelites were trying to do too, but they were doing it on their own strength. They were doing it, putting it out there, saying, we will build with dressed stone. We're going to come out stronger. We're going to be tougher because of this. We're going to come through the ashes, is the whole premise of why they were doing it in Israel. Do you think that that's the same premise here? I believe so. I think our nation, or that leader, Senator John Edwards, was doing the same thing. Although he was trying to encourage, like the Israelites were trying to encourage the Israel, the northern kingdom there, John Edwards was trying to do the same, and his speech had the intent of encouraging, but really he was uttering the actual vow of defiance and basically connecting a lot of things here. He connected that verse from Israel, the northern kingdom, back in Isaiah, to America, modern day America. He connected the verse that way. And then the other connection was he connected that specific verse to 9/11, because it was done during a 9/11 remembrance and mourning, section or portion of this prayer breakfast. And it was done on 9/11. And I guess that's probably why he connected it. So you start to think like, okay, the connection, they brought it up, and the actual verses are connected with a strike against the land and to come back even stronger. And it was said in more of a, hey, we're gonna do this on our own type of thing. Now, and it was said, so I don't know the heart of Senator John Edwards, but I could tell you the heart of the nation, even at that time, right? We went to the churches, everybody packed the churches right after 9/11 for like 3 months. After that, fell away again. Why? Because it wasn't true repentance. And so this kind of leads into that. So I think there's a strong connection here. The utterance in America in 2004 and the original utterance back in the northern kingdom of Israel that's listed in Isaiah. So I believe this is a strong, strong harbinger, a strong connection to the judgment. All right? Okay, well, we are just out of time. And my name is Clint Armitage, and this is the Liberty Podcast. I really appreciate you coming by, taking the time to listen, and hopefully you're having some good stuff come out of this for you. All right? So, until next time, stay safe, stay motivated, and keep seeking liberty. For another episode of the Liberty Podcast with Clint Armitage. If you want to get in touch, email us at info@clintarmitage.com.